Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something incredibly unique. We are going to take a magnifying glass to a microscopic text. It's literally just 5 lines long, yet it carries this immense emotional and philosophical weight. We're going to unpack every single line, every implication, and really uncover how a few carefully chosen words can build an entire universe of suspense and existential dread. It's a tiny riddle that packs a massive punch, and I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through it.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Notice how the entire narrative immediately frames itself around an incredibly brief, completely unstated premise. This story of just 2 words. Right out of the gate, the text is telling us exactly what it is, and honestly, more importantly, what it isn't. It's not some sprawling multi-volume epic. It's not a detailed world-building history. It is severely, almost painfully limited.
So, I really want you to ponder this for a second. What could those 2 words possibly be? Are they I left, maybe he died, or I forgot, come back? By hiding the actual core of the story from us right at the start, the author instantly drops us into a true detective story of the soul. We're immediately forced to be active participants here, desperately trying to fill in a massive blank with practically zero evidence.
Section 1. The mystery of 2 words.
We're exploring incredibly tight boundaries here. I mean, just think about that number, 2. Think about the severe limitation and the stark, raw intimacy of a story that's been reduced to just a pair of mysterious words. It completely strips away all the fluff, all the context, all the drawn-out explanations. It just leaves us with this concentrated essence of a narrative. And it's a brilliant storytelling device, right? Because the less we're told, the more our imagination races to fill the void.
Section 2. Anatomy of a Vanished Trace.
Let's slow our pace down just a bit to let these next words breathe. As if a trace had simply vanished. The specific phrasing here is absolutely crucial. Notice those first 2 words, as if. That immediately suggests a lingering doubt, a sort of hypothetical reality. And then the phrase, simply vanished, really emphasizes a sudden, unexplained emptiness. There was no explosion, there was no grand departure, no dramatic goodbye. Just gone. It's a very quiet, deeply unsettling erasure.
Now, what's really fascinating is how we define trace within the context of this textual crime scene. You see, a trace isn't the whole object. It's a footprint. It's a lingering scent or a shadow. It is the singular piece of evidence, meaning, or connection that the narrator has lost. They didn't necessarily just lose the person. They lost the proof that the person, or even the feeling, was ever there to begin with.
Section 3. The Quest for Someone.
And this is where we enter the active phase. I had set out in search of someone. I want to highlight that sharp shift here. We just went from the passive, quiet vanishing of the trace in the previous line straight into the active, determined intent of the narrator right here. They are moving, they're searching, they're actively trying to fill the void left by whatever disappeared. It is a bold statement of absolute purpose.
And this brilliantly illustrates an implied chronological narrative arc derived purely from these incredibly sparse lines. We have Phase 1, a trace vanishes. Phase 2, the narrator sets out. Phase 3, the narrator finds someone. And finally, Phase 4, the realization hits. The author has basically built a complete 4-act structure using practically no words at all. It's an absolute masterclass in narrative economy.
Section 4. An unexpected discovery. All right, here is where the dramatic tension really peaks. But whom I found before me, look at the profound suspense embedded right there in that ellipsis. And focus on the word but. That single word explicitly signals an impending subversion of the searcher's expectations. You simply don't use the word but at the climax of a desperate search unless something has gone terribly, confusingly wrong. Let's break down this jarring disconnect. On one side, we have the expectation in search of someone. This implies a known target, right? A hopeful goal, a mental picture of exactly who they're going to find, but on the other side, we have the reality. But whom I found before me, the searcher is suddenly confronted with a very uncertain physical reality. The person they are looking at right now does not match the expectation they held in their mind. Let's recount our narrator's actions step by step to really feel this tension. First, a trace completely disappears. The world is just suddenly empty. Second, a determined, desperate search begins. They travel, they look, they hope. And third, a sudden encounter happens. They finally find someone. The anticipation right here is immense. We are standing right there, shoulder to shoulder with the narrator, staring at this unexpected figure, waiting for the final piece of the puzzle to drop.
Section 5. The illusion of identity.
So, the crucial point is, was not my own. Wow. Let's just let those words sit in silence for a moment. That is the shock of the conclusion. It completely, utterly upends the entire premise of the search.
Let's deconstruct that word own for a second to see how this twist really builds. We define it here as the concept of a recognizable, possessed identity that is suddenly and shockingly stripped from the narrator. By saying the person they found was not their own, it fundamentally questions who the searcher thought they were looking for in the first place. Were they looking for a lost friend, a past lover, or were they looking in a metaphorical or even literal mirror, only to find that the identity staring back at them was completely unrecognizable? The vanished trace wasn't someone else, it was themselves.
It leaves us with this final, provocative thought to wrap up our explainer today. When a trace vanishes, whose identity are we really searching for? Are we out there chasing the ghosts of other people? Or are we just desperately trying to track down the lost, vanished versions of ourselves? It's a brilliant, deeply unsettling question packed into just 5 short lines. Thank you so much for diving into this microanalysis with me. Keep looking closely at the details and never underestimate the power of a few perfect words.